Alright, so I just got back from Midwest Gaming Classic and it was a blast. And I picked up a ton of stuff, so let's go over everything I picked up. First up is not really as much of a pickup as much of a shout out to Game Dad out there. If you watch him on YouTube, I did do the modding class with him and ended up with this sweet red and yellow Game Boy. Super pumped about it. Only downside is I picked a Game Boy that was kind of dirty and turns out I need to clean the cartridge slot, so that's on me. But it kind of scared me when I was testing some of the games I picked up because it wasn't working in this, and really it's my Game Boy because I tested it in a good Game Boy I have and they all work. And next up is this Chaos Between Realms, and this is the game you got with the VIG pass at Midwest Gaming Classic, which comes in a super cool blue cartridge. Alright, so on to the stuff I actually purchased with my own money, and I will say I did some trades as well. So I ended up doing pretty well value-wise. I'm not going to go into full pricing, but I paid under sticker and either at about or under normal retail value for everything I got. And I'll go into a separate tips video of what I did to make sure you get the most out of your convention, and hopefully that helps you in the future, and I'll probably link it up here somewhere. So first off, I had a couple Super Nintendo games I was looking for, and the first one was Mega Man X. This one not a lot of vendors had, but I found this one with a pretty clean label, but it's in pretty good shape, and I'm really happy with this pickup because I've been wanting to play the Mega Man X series on Super Nintendo. And also Final Fantasy III. I went to a vendor and I basically just asked, hey, what's the coolest thing you have at your booth? And he's like, well, I don't know about the coolest, but this is one that means the most to me. And he told me the story how he played Final Fantasy III a ton when he was a kid, and it was his favorite game of all time. And actually, I have another friend who this is their favorite game of all time, and is like, you know what? I think I need to play this, so I got a copy of Final Fantasy III. Next, I'm going to go into Game Boy stuff. And I'm going to kind of bundle in GBA, GBC, and I picked up some import games. And whether or not you knew this, Game Boy games and Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, none of them are region locked. So you can pick up a Japan system, play US games. You can pick up a US system, play Japan games. All interchangeable. So I picked up a few Japanese games. The first one is Pokemon Puzzle here for the Game Boy Color. I don't really know any of the menu options, but it's a fun puzzle game. I really tried to pick games where if I didn't know the menu, I could still have fun playing it. So here is Kirby Pinball, and I do enjoy me the occasional pinball game, whether that's Pokemon Pinball or regular pinball. Pinball's good. And last is this Kirby 2 game, which I think is Kirby Dream Land, but I'm not 100% sure. But again, a game I think I should be able to just pick up and play without knowing the menu options. Alright, into the GBA stuff, we have Dragon Ball Z Legacy of Goku. And I know this isn't like a highly rated game, but this is one I remember playing as a kid and being terrible at it, and I just wanted to give it another shot. And then another oddity that I did have on my list here when I was going to the convention was I wanted to look for GBA video games. GBA video. I have a recollection of the child of taking these on vacation, watching them in the car, in the airplane or whatever, because I didn't have like a DVD player with me all the time, but I had my Game Boy with me all the time. Here is Fairly Odd Parents. We have our SpongeBob SquarePants. And then last but not least, Pokemon cartridge here with 2 Pokemon episodes on it. So pretty happy with these. Actually, this might be the exact SpongeBob one I had as a kid. I'm gonna have to check this one out. If it has Krusty Krab Pizza on Volume 1, let me know in the comments down below, because that's my jam. And the last GBA game I picked up, not the last Game Boy game, but GBA, Fire Emblem Sacred Stones. So I was actually going through a guy's booth, not expecting to find this. He just had a bunch of carts mixed in a tub, and I found this at the bottom, and I was kind of like, why is this still here? We're on the last day, within the last few hours of the show. You figure somebody would have picked this up. Originally I was going to pass, but I was like, you know what, I'll just shoot him a lower offer and see what he says. And he said yes. So, Fire Emblem Sacred Stones, really excited about this one. And my last pickup for Game Boy is a copy of Pokemon Red, which isn't the prettiest copy, but when I loaded it up, someone got really far on this game, and I'll put a short out there that shows how many Pokemon they found, but yeah, I was impressed. Somebody got pretty far. And I also found the manual for it for super cheap at the show. So I'm only missing the box, but I'm thinking I'm gonna do the same thing I did with my Pokemon Gold. And I got like a DS type case with a nice looking artwork on the outside to keep this all together and safe, instead of hunting for that cardboard box that is way too expensive. Plus, I feel like the label is not pretty enough to warrant like a super nice cardboard box for it. From here, we're gonna move on to the newest Nintendo console, and that's the Switch. So Metroid Dread I have not played yet, so I picked this guy up. Nintendo games don't really go down in value, and I feel like I got a good deal on this one, considering Nintendo games usually stick around full price. Then we have Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. So I actually haven't played a Xenoblade game, and I'm hoping to change that. And next one, I kind of regret this one just a little bit. So I had a copy of this game, and then I sold it for a little bit too low of a price, and I found out later it kind of jumped in price. And so when I saw this one at the convention, I was like, ooh, this is underpriced. Turns out I got a reprint. So I didn't pay a bad price for it. I actually paid $5 under sticker for this one. It's Skullgirls. But I thought this was going to be an easy flip for me later, and it turns out it wasn't. And the last one that I picked up for Switch is Owlboy, and this just had artwork that really kind of fit my taste, and I thought it'd be fun, so I picked this guy up. Okay, and then DS and 3DS stuff. Advance Wars is coming soon, so Advance Wars Days of Ruin on DS. I knew the seller for this stand, and I saw this here. I was like, hey man, will you cut me a deal? Because I sold him some stuff for the show, and he did. He's a super nice guy. It's called a Bizarre Project. I'll leave a link or something in the description, or maybe it'll pop up on the screen here. We'll see how adventurous I get, but this next one, I kind of sniped from a vendor. This nice lady and her boyfriend were going to sell games at a vendor, and I saw her take a stack of games up. I could see immediately there were several Pokemon games, and I estimated there were at least $400, $450 worth of stuff. Everything at this booth was at least 20% markup of fair market value, and I knew right away this guy's gonna lowball her. He comes back with an offer for $160 cash everything, or 200 trade credit. Normally, that trade credit wouldn't be awful, but everything is marked up 20%, so that makes it even worse because it really doesn't even go as far. And so she's like, well, let me talk to my boyfriend. She turns around to start talking to him, and I just walk up. I know they saw me do this too, and I just said, I'll offer you $100 for that game right now. And she said, sold. So, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Explorers of the Sky. $100. I feel like I got a great deal on that one. I haven't decided whether I'm gonna keep it or flip it yet to help expand my collection or pay for some of the show stuff. I was pumped about this that I sniped that away. And then 3DS games were there just weren't very many at the show. I was looking for Fire Emblem 3DS games and I couldn't find any at this show. But I did find two other 3DS games, and that was Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Y. Complete in box here for the 3DS. In case you missed it, the eShop is closed and all of this stuff has gone up like crazy. Like, it's crazy expensive now. So I felt like grabbing these. I got in a bundle deal with Pokemon Red. And I feel like I paid a really good price to add these to my collection. Alright, and last but certainly not least is the GameCube games. I had one game for the show that was kind of like my must-have. I walked into the show and I was like, this is the game I want to buy. I'm going to search for this one first, and that was in the GameCube section. One of the games I picked up was Star Wars Rogue Leader Squadron. This was one of the games that kind of like pushed the hardware. It's one I wanted for the collection. I wanted to try it out and play it. I have like a demo version. The next one, this wasn't really on my list, but I knew of this game because I knew it was one my wife would like, and I figured it was one we could do together just because we both really enjoy this franchise, and that is Scooby-Doo Night of a Thousand Frights. It's probably not the best looking Scooby-Doo game ever, but this is, supposed to be a superb fun game, and I'm excited to play this one. And this one was a little bit of an impulse buy, but I've been kind of on a Mega Man kick ever since they announced the Battle Network remake is coming out for Switch. And so, Mega Man Anniversary Collection. This one is Mega Man 1 through 8 plus 2 other arcade games, so 10 games total on one disc. It was for the 15th anniversary, and I'm excited to add this one to collection. I feel like this was a great impulse buy, honestly. So I'm really excited to start playing this one and get my butt kicked, honestly. This next one was another little bit of an impulse buy, but also I had gotten rid of a Dreamcast. So I tried the Dreamcast. I tried to get into it, just couldn't do it. Picked up original Sonic Adventure, just wasn't for me. But I'm gonna try Sonic Adventure DX on the GameCube because I just prefer GameCube. Not to mention this is cheaper than the version for the Dreamcast. Alright, my last game is the next one. Leave comments down below about what you think of the pickups. Subscribe to the channel, it definitely helps out. And this was my must-have game going into the show. This is one that's been on my list for a while, but I haven't found a price that I loved. And that is Super Mario Strikers. Yes, probably not the most impressive out of everything I've shown, but this is one that I remember playing with friends back when I was growing up, and I just wanted to add it. It's something that I've wanted in the collection, and I'm really excited to play this. And yeah, apparently this is still considered like the definitive one compared to Switch and Wii as far as I've heard, but you can let me know in the comments down below which one is your favorite. Thanks for watching. These are all my pickups, and we'll catch you next time. If you want to watch something else, YouTube thinks you should watch one of these videos that are gonna appear here somewhere. I don't know where yet, but maybe there's a video here. Maybe it's down here. Maybe you should watch one of them because YouTube thinks you're gonna like them.